The Boys Season 5 has officially ended, so now it's time to rank every season in The Boys universe. Hello everybody, my name is Jesse and welcome to my channel. With the official ending of The Boys Season 5, I am finally going to give you my ranking of every season of The Boys and Gen V. I haven't seen Diabolical, the kind of animated short series, so that will not be included. It's just going to be seasons 1 through 5 of The Boys and the 2 seasons of Gen V. Coming in last place for me is going to be Gen V Season 2. Now, I did not think by any means that this season was outright bad. I actually really enjoyed a lot of it. The mystery behind the villain, Cypher, and the kind of backstory of Thomas Godolkin and the V1 and all of that, I thought were really cool ideas, and it was very interesting to explore that. All of the drama going on with the characters, especially after the events of Season 1 and the death of one of their kind of team, you could say. A lot of our characters dive further into their family history and trauma. I think all of that is handled really, really well, especially Sam has kind of a subplot where he goes off and sees his parents and further explores his relationship with them. I enjoyed all of that. Marie kind of does the same thing with her sister. The ultimate reason that this season is in last place for me is because I was quite disappointed with the finale, how they wrapped all of it up. I liked the reveal of Thomas Godolkin being behind the whole thing the whole time, but I wish that they would have done it at the midpoint and focused on his grand scheme for most of this season rather than just 45 minutes of a finale. The entire thing felt very rushed and just honestly just not well planned, and the how this season wrapped up just felt really underwhelming. Then I have The Boys Season 4. I really enjoyed this season still. There's a lot of phenomenal standout moments. Anthony Starr gives one of his best performances as Homelander in this season, especially in episode 4, where he goes to the lab where he was experimented on and taunting all of these scientists. All of that is really, really great stuff, and he's absolutely terrifying in the role as always. All of that is great. There's some really interesting advancements with Compound V and working on this soup-killing virus that Butcher plans to use on Homelander. All of that is really well done. But the season also ultimately just feels like they're kind of running in place, trying to save all of what should be big moments for Season 5, and they're just kind of the whole season felt more like they're just trying to up the ante and trying to outdo themselves with the gore and the sexual situations. And there are a lot of times in this season where it just gets downright uncomfortable to watch. The new additions are good. I enjoy our new characters in this season. Once again, Homelander is just great. You can see that he's closer and closer, he's trying to hold on to whatever sanity he has left, but you can tell that his rage and ego is just growing and festering. All of that is really well done. But I also think this is just overall one of the more forgettable seasons. Then I have the newest and final season, The Boys Season 5. You can check out my full review of this season in the description below. I had a lot to say on it, and ultimately, I thought the finale of it all, how they wrapped everything up, where all of our characters ended, was okay. Nothing in the finale really made me mad. I thought it was a satisfying enough conclusion, but the season as a whole ended up being really underwhelming and disappointing. There were a lot of things that I thought would have been really interesting to explore, most notably like the V1. I talk more about this in my full review, but they don't really do a lot with like the V1, the soup killing virus, all this stuff that we've been building up for over several seasons of this show now. They don't really do much with it, and they just don't play around with it as much as they could have. The stakes in this season never feel as big as they should. You never really feel the threat as much as you probably should for a final season in a show as grand as this. I just didn't feel those stakes. Homelander, overall as a villain, is not as threatening in this season, became way more predictable. But I don't want to focus too much on the bad. Again, I still had a good time with this season. I was ultimately satisfied enough with everything ended up. This season still has everything that you love from this show. If you love The Boys, you might have a decent enough time with this season still. But it was ultimately pretty disappointing and ended up lower on my list. Then I have the first season of Gen V. I really loved this spinoff. It was really fun to be back in this world in between seasons 3 and 4 of The Boys, introducing a brand new group of characters that I really loved. It introduced new ideas about superpowers that I really like. I enjoy how they kind of explore the idea of powers definitely being something that is good, like they can be a gift. But with this group of characters, they also really dive into the idea of them also being a curse. I forget her name, the blonde girl who has to make herself puke to grow or shrink. Marie having to cut herself open to gain access to her blood to use her powers. Andre, who kind of damages himself internally every single time he uses his powers because of a disease passed on from his father. All of that is very well done. And overall, focusing on a younger generation of soups and how that would work in a college world is very interesting. I really enjoyed all of that. The whole conspiracy plot with Victoria Newman and using the soup killing virus, all of that is really interesting. So overall, I thought this first season was a great spin-off of The Boys. Then I have The Boys Season 2. This season continues everything that I loved about the first season. Homelander is still an absolutely despicable villain that you continue to hate. And the whole plotline with Ryan, some of that works, some of it doesn't. I think it's interesting to watch Homelander try and be that father figure, try and teach his son how to use his powers, try and kind of force them out of him almost, and going about being that father figure for him in all of the wrong ways. But at the same time, I always found this younger version of Ryan to just be really more annoying than anything. And so some of that works, some of it doesn't for me. Stormfront, I thought, was a great villain, and a villain that perfectly kind of encapsulates everything that this show was criticizing. She knew how to use social media to her advantage to gain a bigger following and kind of manipulate it to have people see her in a better light. We kind of get our first glimpses at the idea of V1 in this season with finding out that Stormfront was actually alive during like World War II, and she's been around for nearly 100 years. Kimiko gets introduced in this season, and she became one of my favorite characters in the show. So she was a fantastic addition to the cast, and all of this leads up to a phenomenal showdown in the finale. and everything, how they wrapped up this season, and the finale was awesome. My runner-up is The Boys Season 3. This season tells you immediately right off the bat they're upping the ante on the violence, the sexual situations, everything that the show became known for in its first couple of seasons. It completely raises the stakes on all of that. I really enjoy that. It pushes the boundaries, but it doesn't quite go too far yet in this season. All of it is done very well. Jensen Ackles is an amazing addition as Soldier Boy. His character had me laughing at least a couple times per episode. His line delivery and his performance, especially in this season, but throughout the entire show, was just fantastic. I really love the idea of Temp V explored in this season, a temporary compound V that gives our heroes superpowers that they use against Homelander, and also kind of the moral dilemma against that, because they're the whole point of this show was the humans standing up against the supes, but now they are in turn giving themselves superheroes, becoming what they swore to destroy. And all of that leads to some phenomenal action. Herogasm is one of the best episodes in the entire show, and the ultimate final showdown between Homelander and Butcher at the end of that episode was amazing. And the finale of this season, all of that, all of the reveals with Soldier Boy being Homelander's father, everything there is handled extremely well. But coming in number one for me, my favorite season is The Boys Season 1. I'm just a sucker for origin stories and introductions to brand new worlds, and I love everything that this season did with that, and especially after years of Marvel and DC, seeing a show about superheroes that takes the comic book genre and completely flips it on its head, criticizes it, becomes just a gritty, dark satire on the superhero genre, worked phenomenally. And the thing I think the thing that makes this season work as well as it does is this is when the show was at its simplest, its most focused, and its smallest. It's just becoming about a group of humans, a group of basically nobodies who have been wronged by supes, in a world where superheroes are a normal thing. Everyone knows who they are, and they are essentially superheroes are like they're essentially being paid by this company to be in commercials, be in movies. Like they're not doing it just out of the goodness of their own heart. They're doing it because they're making loads of money doing it. And these people that are not good people using their superpowers for power and money and fame. And you have this group of humans who want revenge against them because they see them for who they truly are. That's a fantastic premise. It all works amazing. I think it's the season with some of the most shock value because you don't know yet what they're going to be able to get away with, what is going to happen. Homelander is at his most terrifying because, again, he's entirely unpredictable. You don't know who this character is yet, what he's going to do, what he is capable of. And Anthony Starr just plays it phenomenally. So there you have it. That is my ranking of all 7 live-action seasons in The Boys universe. What is your ranking of these seasons? Let me know down in the comments below. And in the next couple of weeks, I have a bunch of other content, specifically Christopher Nolan reviews leading up to The Odyssey. So stay tuned for all of that. And until then, like this video, subscribe to my channel so you never miss any new content, reviews, rankings, that sort of thing. And keep watching movies and TV.